Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Shay, your local numerologist. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. Make sure you leave your comments below. I love reading all of them. And of course, happiness is always the goal, guys. So we are getting into our soul urge numbers. February is all about connections, but if you are looking at this reading after February, of course, you need to look into your connections. So we have Heart's Desire, Soul Urge number 5. All right, so 5 is one of my favorite numbers. Let me put this here so you guys can see it real good. 5 is one of my favorite numbers just because it is so random. So it's like change, imagination, you guys like new experiences. Freedom, traveling, and enthusiastic. So what I get is that you guys start with a great momentum and then it kind of dies down over time, which is funny because that's literally the message that I got, that you guys are losing momentum. Okay, staying connected is causing more harm than good. So something is holding you guys back from going into the next cycle, which again, guys, with the number 5, when it shows up in your chart, you guys need variety. I don't care if you was born on the 5th day, in the 5th month, you got your 5, your life path 5, your soul urge 5, wherever the 5 is, you guys need variety. Like, it's something that feeds your soul. It's to have these new experiences. But I definitely get that you have kind of been not honoring your soul. So the first thing that we're gonna do is take a look at your current situation, right? Current situation, and then we have underlying like issues or the underlying things here that is affecting your current situation, and then we're just gonna look a little more into it. Over here we have how you got here, like what created this monster. And then we have advice over here, of course. So we are gonna start in the middle. Okay, make sure you guys are good. Oh, one sec. All right, better. So it was getting a little floppy. I don't know what's going on. But let's go ahead and get into it. So first we're gonna pick this. We have the 9 of Cups. So a couple things here. The 9 of Cups does represent a satisfaction. More it kind of leads to this kind of happiness thing, but it's really taking on a lot of things that make you happy, or taking on a lot of things that are satisfying. So it can also lead into an overindulgence. 9, I would say, is gluttony. The 9 of Cups can represent like a little bit of gluttony, especially if you are buying things that you shouldn't be doing, or just partaking in dangerous activities on the regular basis. That's what I'm getting here. Of course, you know, we relate gluttony with food, but that's not what I'm feeling. Okay, so I do think that taking on too much of those pleasurable things have kind of done a disservice to like your dopamine, the dopamine chemical in your brain, because it feels like you are always after this next high, but you keep doing the same thing in order to get that high, and it is taking more and more of your energy. It's not giving you what you want, and it's leaving you stuck in a certain position. So I did forget to pick some runes, so I'm gonna pick some real quick because we're using the wood ones for you guys, which I can flip over. So I'm gonna put one right up here, and then one over here for our advice. So we got everything all pulled out. All right. So we have, so let's start with that. Let's leave this 9 of Cups here. And let's move this over to the side. So I'm going to flip all of these up at the same time and kind of read them together. Okay. So 5 of Cups is about a loss. It's about grief. Maybe something didn't work out. Maybe you lost someone that you were very close to, whether it was like a betrayal and they walked away, or whether they're no longer here on this earth in the physical form. I do get this energy that it has caused you to be stuck, it has caused your life to be at some kind of standstill. And then we have the tower where it's like, okay, well, now everything is just falling apart. So you guys may have had like a little bit of bad luck recently. And it's kind of been eating away at you, and you're kind of like, well, what do I do next? Where do I go next? And you're kind of in this energy where you're like, okay, well, what's the, I hate to say this, kind of like the status quo, right? Thinking about too much how other people are going to feel, or how other people are going to look at you if you make this next move, which this next move is to move on. Now, I am like, I love like the whole walking away thing, and like not reading too much into being in a stagnant position. But honestly, guys, this is worse for you than it'll ever be for anybody else, right? So Spirit is saying, how long are you going to deal with this? How many times are you going to get yourself caught in this cycle and keep doing the same thing over and over again, allowing something to appease you that really is hurting you in the long run or harming you in the long run? So this does feel like some kind of addiction. And again, it doesn't have to be like drugs or something like that. I feel like is dopamine. Like you guys, I feel like 5 is one of those numbers that you guys love a dopamine rush, right? Love like new challenges and new satisfaction. And sometimes you can fall prey to just searching for that, but you're not going to get it standing still, right? So you guys have to keep it moving. Everybody else in life may be able to get away with just buying a house and, staying here in one place and just being at one job for 30 years and, being with one person forever. But you guys have to reevaluate what that means to you, right? It's not always good enough to be like, hey, I'm going to be here for the next 30 years, or I'm going to be attached to this place forever, whether it's a job, a house, or somebody that you really do care about. Now, there are ways to keep things new in a relationship, but if you haven't connected with somebody who has that same energy with you, it can be difficult to continue moving forward with that person. So again, looking at these cards, I definitely see an amount of grief that has had you guys at a standstill, and it does cause tower moments in your life just because you guys have to keep moving, right? It's kind of like it shouldn't be so easy to catch you. I don't know how else to say it. You guys have been sitting still for way too long. Underlying issue, what do we have here? We have the Seven of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles. What I see here are promises that you made that you really don't want to break. And I'm just going to stay up front before I get into reading the individual cards. That is what I feel, that you guys have made some promises and you don't want to break them. You want to live up to those expectations that other people have of you. And in those expectations, what I'm getting right now is that some of you may have come from like a broken family. And I don't mean just, oh yeah, my parents were divorced. I mean broken, like people were just ripped away from you. So like people going to jail, people being on drugs, not being there, people passing away, families just being separated like by violent actions, or by the parents not doing what they need to do, whether they chose not to or whether it was kind of a forced situation. I do see a lot of trauma here stemming from childhood and that original family that you had. So it's really hard and difficult for you to be like, okay, well, I need to walk away from this situation, because you're like, no, because I've seen it before. I've seen what it can do. But you do have to realize that it's not the same, right? The circumstances are vastly different, and you need to give yourself some grace, right? I also, man, I don't know if this is back to the emotional entrapment, but I'm gonna put this because I think this might be a video that you guys need to see. That video just keeps popping up in all of my readings, but basically, emotional entrapment is like you have invested emotionally in something and you just don't want to walk away from it. You want to stay stuck to it, right? So with the Seven of Swords and with all of this together, I feel like underlying issue you stay in this position is because you're like, okay, I can handle it, I can keep everything together. That is what I'm getting. You have this desire to hold everything that you love, everybody that you love together in this little circle. It's kind of like you want to control people's existence, like as far as being in your life and what they represent in your life, and then what you represent in their life. And in doing that, you have kind of like put your relationships in a box so that they only look a certain type of way. What I'm getting right now is that the people that care about you, the people that you are worried about, you can't leave, you know something bad is going to happen if you go, like they're understanding based off of who you are and the things that you do. They already know this about you. So I do think that the best course of action right now is to be honest, to go forward, working with the people that you want to work with, connecting to individuals and to groups, places, things, whatever the case may be, that give you this kind of feeling of freedom, to allow you to use your imagination, to allow you to create, to allow you to travel and experience new and different things. Look at that. Yo, you can't make it up, y'all. Creativity. We got 10 in the 2 month with a soul urge 5. All I'm saying is 2 times 5 is 10, right? So double the 5, and then you get this kind of who am I. So 10, I talk about a lot of times being this energy of kind of being stuck, right? So you have 9 right here. We have 9 being the end of a cycle, right? And then when you get to 10, it's like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get what I need to do done? So 0 is a number of spirit. So spirit is there with you. So spirit is your guides, your God, whoever you celebrate that's not here, your ancestors that are supporting you in the other realm. Spirit is just a general, like, association, I guess, right? So when your guides are like, no, you need to do this, they're pushing you toward this creative venture. And I think that you are a little bit afraid to let things go because of how everything has worked out in your past, the guilt, the shame, from things falling apart, and you just don't want to be that person. You know, it reminds me of Anthony Hamilton, coming from where I'm from. So let me put that down. And um, my favorite part of that song is at the end where he talks about how he's scared to have kids because he's so afraid of like ending up like how his father ended up. Like he didn't want to be his dad. And I feel like that same type of energy here, that hey, like there was some really messed up things going on in your childhood when you grew up, maybe your early adulthood as well, and you really don't want to repeat those things. You really want to separate yourself from those actions, and you struggle. It's almost like two sides of yourself. So I'm getting that you have this desire to create whatever that is. I don't know it, whatever business that you guys want to start or whatever your favorite hobby is. You have a real desire to do that, but on the other end of it, it feels like it's going to take something away from everybody else in your life. And so you are so focused on what it'll take away from everybody else, that you haven't really considered what you're losing by not going forward with this. Okay, so we got another 9, we got change, and then we have the snake, which is 7. So, uh, to me, this feels like right now part of you is struggling because you feel like you're gonna like backstab some kind of energy. You feel like a betrayer. If you make this change, you feel like you're gonna be the snake in the grass, right? We have the Queen of Wands here. Queen of Wands is a manifester. We like to refer to her as a witch. A lot of times she can be. But what manifesting really means is putting in the energy and then getting out the energy that you put in. So it's like, hey, I want this. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm working on the things that I need to work on. Then you're eventually going to get it. That's what manifesting is all about. And you are not a snake or a bad person for wanting things for yourself, okay? So then here we have Berkana in reverse. Berkana is about fertility, okay? It is in reverse, y'all. All right, so Berkana means birch, but it does remind me of birth, but it is in reverse, right? So in reverse, it represents anxiety and rigid control. And this is what I was talking about as well earlier, is that you guys have a desire to kind of have a control on your relationships, and it's just not how it works. You're never fully going to know how everybody feels or what everybody's thinking. And so at some point, you have to be like, you know what? Forget what they're thinking anyway. It means more to me what I need, what I'm thinking, what I need to know, and all of that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. The other ones are definitely not going to be so long because, again, this was a deep dive. So we're going into how you got here. So let's get some clarification on that. Okay, so we do have a couple 8s here, and then we have the 6 of air. Okay, so here 6 of air is flying over troubled water, and man, somebody, it literally looks like to me looking at this, somebody was in a situation where they felt trapped, where they felt like they couldn't move forward. And this may have been a parent or a sibling, or this was somebody that was close to you. I'm still getting childhood vibes, but this is somebody that was close to you that felt really, really burdened. So they decided to walk away. So they decided to give up everything that they had built so that they could start a new life or do something different. Yeah. I also get that this person may have left due to money. Look, 8 of Cups coming up again. You can't make it up, y'all. 32 coming to a 5. This was a dark time for you. And what I'm getting is that you feel like this person chose money over you, but looking at the cards, they didn't. They did not. They were going through a dark time too. For some of you guys, whatever home or business, whatever space you were sharing with this person was definitely dark. Definitely had some demonic ass energy in it. I'm just gonna be honest. And there was issues getting out of that energy. Put it like that. It was a very murderous energy. It absolutely was. And they had to walk away and move away from it. And it's not their fault. I do see that they could have handled the situation differently. But let me just say, when you are not in the right mental space, it makes it very difficult to communicate in a healthy way. It makes it very difficult for you to, express yourself, right? When you're in a dark place mentally, sometimes all you can think of is the darkness. So you may have issues, and that's what I feel for this person. So you really should forgive them. I do think that forgiveness for you, heart chakra vibes, guys, heart chakra vibes. I do feel like forgiveness for you is going to open up a whole world if you think about this in a different way. What do we have here? We have Pertho in reverse. They absolutely did not do the right thing. Like, listen, upright is destiny, fate, faith, faith. Oh my goodness, faith and fate. Okay, this is a loss of faith. I do still feel like this is kind of like this energy of moving toward a dark place, but I do get that your loss of faith came from this energy. Um, and it just, it yeah, there's not much left I could say about that. That is very sad. It feels like a really, really traumatic time in your life. And I don't want you to discount that like, oh yeah, well, they didn't mean to, so I shouldn't be as hurt. Like, you should be as hurt as you feel. And you have every right to be in pain because of the way that somebody walked away. But one thing about that I like to use forgiveness, something that helps me forgive, and I said this before, is just taking a look at, this person's circumstances, what they actually went through, and try to come to an understanding. Especially so that you don't perpetuate that same energy, but mostly so that you do forgive them and you can move on with your life, because this whole thing is this stuck energy, and you guys have a life to live. Like, you have to be fives. You know what I'm saying? All right. So this one is advice. You are here on a double mission. Light worker, starseed. Serve the world by being you. See? If you lose faith in people, you can't serve the world, right? If you're not being creative, how are you gonna be you? How are you expressing yourself? Right? So I want you guys to really get into what it is that you are being driven to do. Take a look at your life path number. Like, I did life path 2023 readings. Take a look and see if you are moving towards your destiny. See if you are making the correct efforts, or are you kind of like backpedaling? Okay. All right, so we got Ogun, and then we also have the Ten of Wands. Ogun is a warrior, represents the chariot. Um, you guys are taming some kind of beast. That's what I'm getting. In this case, the beast is your burdens. And the Ten of Wands really represents those burdens that we took on ourselves, right? We took on these bills because we needed somewhere to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we take care of these kids because we had them. So, make sure you guys can see that. Sorry. So it really is that energy of taking on, maybe you feel like you have taken on too much, but you really need to get rid of things that aren't working. You need to move forward with things that just feel like they are too much. So I'm getting to flip over this room now. T-wise, okay. Okay, so T-wise in reverse. Well, upright, it is victory. So in and of itself, the room does mean victory. It is in reverse. So you guys have kind of lost a passion. Lost, it's about your blocked creative energy. So that is standing out to me right now because you have creativity over here. So Spirit really wants you to get back into your creative energy. Like, if there's something that you have stopped working on, that you kind of need to bring back up. Okay. All right. So we have 27. We have these documents here. We have 18, the dog, which is loyalty. And then we have the 3 right here, which is the ship, which is kind of like moving on your destiny. We do have 10 again. Whoa. We have 10 of hearts, 10 of swords. And then we have 7 of swords. Listen. I am not feeling whatever relationship this is that's holding you back. And Spirit is telling you to take a second look at it because something is not right. Like, it's almost like, okay, you've been loyal because you feel like you're coming up on this 10 of Cups situation, but it's not going to happen. 10 of Cups is emotional fulfillment, complete and utter emotional fulfillment. Whereas Ten of Swords is harsh endings, backstabbing. And what I feel here is that you guys may have this energy where you feel like you're going to be the betrayer in this situation, but somebody has already lied and manipulated to keep you connected. And Spirit is saying that. Like, it's already not a good thing. Use this energy to go forth and do something else. Ain't this the second time we had Ace of Wands? Because I thought it was in this. Maybe not. Maybe that was a different reading. But anyway, we have the Ace of Wands here. And it's absolutely telling you to go and get. Go and get. You can't be focused on how someone else is going to feel about you, because right now being focused on that is causing you to lose faith. It's causing you to doubt yourself. It's causing you to take on burdens that you don't really need. And you kind of leaving these burdens behind has you not feeling so good about yourself. But right now, from what I see, it's a definite necessity. There's no reason why you should stay entrapped and attached to this. Okay, so yeah, that is all I have, guys, for my Soul Urge vibes. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, leave your comments below. I do read them all, and I will see you guys next time.